The weight of what was lost. Life doesn't fall apart all at once. It unspools, thread by fragile thread, until you're left holding the frayed ends, wondering when it all started to come undone. One moment you're steady, feet planted firmly in what you believe is your future. And the next, the floor vanishes beneath you, and you're free-falling into a past you thought you'd outgrown. I'm 32, and I'm back in my childhood bedroom in Dallas. The same four walls that once held my teenage dreams now feel like a mausoleum for the life I thought I'd built. Faded posters still cling to the walls, indie bands I once swore would be the soundtrack to my life. My old desk is cluttered with forgotten journals, cracked friendship bracelets, a snow globe from a school trip to DC, remnants of a version of me that feels impossibly distant. I look around and feel like a visitor in someone else's story. My name is Claire. And this wasn't supposed to be my ending or even my middle. I never envisioned returning here, not like this. I thought by now I'd be settled in a home of my own, maybe with a baby on the way, a dog in the backyard, and a career that didn't leave me constantly questioning my worth. But instead I'm here, sifting through dusty memories and trying to pinpoint the moment it all began to slip away. It began with Ethan. We met at a housewarming party hosted by my friend Sarah, who had just bought the kind of picturesque townhouse I used to sketch in the margins of my planner. Everything about that evening screamed arrival. Her thriving career, her charming fiancé, the effortless elegance of it all. I remember feeling both awe and quiet envy. While she built a future with confidence, I was spinning my wheels. Dating apps, dead-end connections, surface-level conversations that never led anywhere. I was beginning to believe maybe love just wasn't in the cards for me. Then I saw him. Ethan didn't stand out because he was loud or flashy. Quite the opposite. He had this calm presence, the kind that makes you want to lean in closer. Tall, with thoughtful eyes and a quiet strength. What struck me most wasn't his appearance, but the way he listened. Like every word I spoke mattered. We talked for hours that night, tucked into a quiet corner of the room as the party hummed around us. I hadn't felt that scene in years. Hope bloomed cautiously at first, like a candle flickering against a draft, but soon it grew into something steady, something warm. Ethan was kind, reliable, thoughtful in ways most people overlook. He remembered the little things. How I took my coffee, the exact moment I had an important meeting, the story behind the tiny scar on my chin. His love wasn't loud. It was constant, gentle. A year after we met, he proposed. Another year later, we stood in front of our family and friends and promised each other forever. I told myself I had finally found the kind of love that lasts. Grounded. But sometimes safety can begin to feel like stillness. And stillness, if you let it, starts to echo. As time passed, I found myself questioning things I once cherished. Ethan's quiet gestures, his folded laundry, his soft reminders to eat on stressful days, the notes he'd tuck into my purse, began to feel routine. I mistook consistency for complacency. I began to crave a spark, not realizing I already held a steady flame. Instead of gratitude, I entertained doubt. Had I traded passion for predictability? Settled for security over excitement? These questions began as whispers. Then they grew louder. By the time I realized how much space they had taken in my mind, it was too late to silence them. The breaking point came at a dinner party. Just close friends, warm food, and one too many glasses of wine. The conversation turned to love. Someone asked if we believed in soulmates, or if relationships were just about timing and effort. I don't know what possessed me, ego, wine, restlessness, but I laughed and said asterisk, honestly if I could do it again, I don't know if I'd marry Ethan. Asterisk. The room fell quiet. I felt the silence hit me like a wave crashing over brittle sandcastles. I looked at Ethan, and in his expression, I saw something unravel. He didn't say much. Just one sentence. Asterisk, good to know. Asterisk. His voice wasn't angry. It was hollow, final. That night he didn't argue, didn't yell. He just went to bed without another word. I told myself we'd talk in the morning, that he'd forgive me, that he always did. But the morning came, and his side of the bed was empty. His toothbrush gone. His drawers cleared out. And on the nightstand, like a final punctuation mark to a sentence I never wanted to end, was his wedding ring, resting beside a photo from our honeymoon in Greece. I stared at it for what felt like hours. The silence in the house was unbearable. Called. No answer. Texted. Nothing. Days passed. Then weeks. Then a month. That's when it sunk in. He wasn't coming back. And what gutted me the most wasn't his absence. It was how gracefully he left. No dramatics. No final argument. Just silence. Closure delivered with quiet dignity. I tried to keep moving to pretend I was okay. But grief doesn't come like a storm, it comes like fog. It wraps around your life slowly, until even familiar things feel foreign. I kept hoping he'd walk back through the door. That he'd realize I hadn't meant it. That we still had time. Then I saw him, downtown, sitting at an outdoor cafe, laughing. The way his shoulders relaxed told me he felt at peace. The woman across from him was radiant in a way I couldn't articulate. Confident, assured, and somehow enough. I watched him look at her the way he used to look at me. And I knew. He had moved on. Not in anger, not in haste, but in acceptance. Because he finally understood something I refused to face. He deserved more than what I gave him. Regret isn't thunderous. It doesn't knock the wind out of you. It's a quiet ache that shows up when you least expect it. When you pass his favorite cafe, or hear the song he used to hum, or find his handwriting in the margin of a book. It's the slow realization that you held something rare and let it slip through your fingers for reasons that now seem shallow. Ethan didn't leave because he stopped loving me. He left because he realized I never truly valued him for who he was. I was too busy chasing what I thought I was missing to see that I had everything I needed right in front of me. Now I sit alone in this room that once held my dreams, surrounded by souvenirs from a life that feels more like fiction than memory. I think about the woman I was, and the man I lost, and the slow unraveling I never saw coming until it was done. They say you don't know what you have until it's gone. But sometimes you do. You just don't believe it'll ever truly leave you. Until it does.